So you may have already heard that several armed individuals launched an attack on Crocus City Hall, which is a well-known music venue on Moscow's periphery. This has been reported by Moscow's official news outlets, and it is running currently on many different social media and news media outlets. The assault resulted in numerous injuries and fatalities, and it also led to the venue catching on fire, and it is the most severe act of terrorism in Russia in over 10 years. State media, who has correspondents on ground, is reporting that at least 4 and possibly 5 people in camouflage forcefully entered the venue's ground floor, initiating gunfire with automatic weapons. I've seen the video. They certainly did have automatic weapons, and they caused several injuries and fatalities. In one video I watched, there was an attacker that took a knee to reload, possibly indicating professional training, because you generally don't see that when it's just some sort of maniacal terrorist walking through firing. Often that means someone has some modicum of training that they've received. Subsequently, an explosive device, likely a firebomb, was detonated, which ignited a blaze. The fire has largely been contained, but the damage is likely catastrophic to the venue. Attendees sought safety by lying on the ground and were later evacuated by just crawling out as best as they could, and a considerable number did manage to escape amidst the chaos. Social media videos did depict 4 camouflaged individuals entering the venue, engaging in gunfire, using smoke bombs, creating a haze. Additional footage showed numerous victims and a significant fire engulfing the venue's roof, leading to a partial collapse of the roof. Lots of videos where there was bloodied floors, bloodied couches, bodies lying around, none of which I can show on TikTok, let alone probably even YouTube. The video did capture some prolonged close-range shooting. The machine gun fire was very capable. They knew what they were doing. Official sources have reported that at least 40 people have died. There's over 100 injuries, and those numbers definitely will rise. Moscow's regional health authorities have dispatched numerous ambulance teams to the scene. There really was no immediate claims for the attacks. There's been rumors in the Russian space that this is something that Ukraine has done. There is no official link yet of the Ukrainian war between Russia and Ukraine. Ukrainian officials have denied any involvement, while Ukraine's military intelligence has implicated Russia's security forces, suggesting the incident was staged to garner support for intensified military actions against Ukraine, as well as to elicit some sort of martial law and justify future mobilization efforts. Such false flags have been conducted by Putin and the Kremlin before. There is a widely held belief that Putin, through the Federal Security Service, or FSB, orchestrated the 1999 apartment bombings that killed hundreds of Russians. Despite evidence strongly suggesting the FSB's involvement, Putin attributed these attacks to Chechen terrorists. As Prime Minister, Putin leveraged the nationalistic zeal generated by these attacks to solidify his bid for presidency following Boris Yeltsin's tenure. Riding this wave of patriotism, he initiated the Second Chechen War, which played a pivotal role in securing his presidency. He then stonewalled any legitimate investigations, and it later came out the FSB had advanced knowledge of the bombings but failed to act, further implicating them in planning and execution of the attacks. That being said, American intelligence did come online and let the Kremlin know that there was potential activity by ISIS-K within Russia. This prompted warnings from U.S. Embassy in Moscow and other areas to avoid large gatherings, particularly concerts. Putin dismissed these warnings, saying it was outright blackmail to intimidate and destabilize Russia. Now, the attack took place during a scheduled performance by the band Picnic, where a large audience was present due to the event being sold out. After the attack, apparently one person had been detained, and the Russian media is claiming one of the vehicles used has Ukrainian license plates. Another suspicious vehicle also had Belarusian plates, according to eyewitnesses on the ground. Now, witnesses and survivors described the attackers as heavily armed, resembling trained militants. Moscow's mayor has since announced measures to aid the victims and suspended all major public events for the weekend. High-ranking Russian officials have vowed to bring those responsible to justice, while opposition figures express their horror and demand accountability for this atrocious act. So, not a lot is known as to motive, as to who did this, as to what the broader meaning is. What we do know is a lot of people have died, a lot of people have been injured, the building caught fire, and it seems like the attackers were well trained. We'll keep an eye on this and see what happens in the days to weeks going forward and what the Kremlin's response may be.